Welcome, welcome to another episode of the Cooking Swiss. And today we are going to make a summer sausage and cheese salad. Now I know this might be a little bit weird, but in Switzerland we eat that quite a bit during the summer months because, it's too hot and humid here in South Jersey and I don't really feel like turning on the stove or anything, even though right now I'm boiling a little bit of water so I can make bouillon because we're going to need that for the salad dressing. But that's about the only cooking that I'll do. So instead of summer sausage, you could also use, for example, just plain hot dogs, uncooked. I mean, they're already pre-cooked, so you cut up, or you could use bologna. So whatever you have in the house, it's very easy, simple, and very inexpensive. So, but let's get started. Now, first, this time we're starting off with the salad dressing. So first thing I'm going to need is I'm going to use a beer mustard. You can use just any kind of mustard, American mustard, whatever, and I'm just going to like to finish this out because it's almost empty anyhow. And you need about 1 tablespoon. And the water is boiling just in time. Turn this off. All right, so we're doing the beer mustard. We are going to need about 1 teaspoon of, I'm using vegetable bouillon. At least get something healthy in the salad, right? So I'm using about 1 teaspoon. Well, this is a half a teaspoon. Let's do half a teaspoon. All right, so we're using a tablespoon. That way we also can make sure that we're not accidentally cracking the bowl. Oh, what helps is opening this up. So we just use a little bit of water. So that's basically the base of our salad dressing. Now let's just continue. Instead of using the measuring spoon, I always like to just work with regular tablespoon. Let's just do that. It's easier. All right, we need about 2 tablespoons of white wine vinegar. You can also use rice vinegar or just a vinegar that is not extremely acidic in flavor, like a milder vinegar. So we use 2 tablespoons. And also we are going to use approximately 3 tablespoons of canola oil. And somebody had mentioned in the comments that I use way too much oil, and this may be true for your taste. Just adjust it, These are just suggestions. Nothing is written in stone here. If you like less, then use less. In fact, I might actually use a little bit less, truthfully. I like to keep the balance between the acid, like the vinegar, and the oil about the same. Now, one more thing we need. We need 2 to 3 tablespoons of sour cream. About 1. Now, better to use, honestly, than whipped cream is, what's it called? Like plain yogurt, or you could use Greek yogurt. No, I actually use the regular plain yogurt, but I don't have any plain yogurt right now, so that's why I'm using whipped cream. It's not great, but you know what? That's what I'm doing right now. I have 2 spoons. And we're also going to add a little bit of pepper. And at the end, actually, we'll also add a little bit of garlic powder. And onion powder. So a little bit of onion powder. I'm also going to cut up. This is all clogged up here. There we go. I am also going to cut up some onions in stripes or whatever you want to call it. You can also, like for the garlic powder, you can use fresh garlic, but it's a little bit intense in the flavor, the fresh garlic. So right now, for today, I'm only going to use the powdered kind. Something else I wanted to say. Oh yeah, the onions. I am going to cut that up, and for me and one of my sons, we're going to eat with the actual onions, and my husband and my other son, they don't like raw onions, so we're going to leave it off. But this recipe, or this salad, is very popular in Switzerland. People will probably make this at least once a month. I mean, my mother is in her 80s and she still makes this sometimes. And also, let's say you go hiking, you go for a snack in a restaurant or something, they will probably have this on the menu. So it's not that like I'm making this up or this is something totally random, or because we do have a lot of sausages and we also have a lot of cheese. Now with the cheese, where did I throw it? Here. I am going to use just a regular New York extra sharp cheddar cheese. If you want, I mean, I personally would prefer Gruyere, but I don't have any Gruyere at the moment, so I just use a decent, good quality cheddar cheese. It works just as well. All right, so let's see what else. All right, so first we're going to start cutting up the summer sausage. Sorry if you hear screaming. My kids, again, in the basement, don't know what to do really, and they start fighting. You know, they're two boys. So there might be some screaming and fighting noises. It's always usually about the computer. I guess in the old days, it used to be what to watch on TV, and now it's, you know, what game to play on the computer. I haven't made one of those in a while, so I know you need to peel them. Luckily, it's pretty simple. Now this is, as I said, this is my American adaptation. In Switzerland, I would use a special sausage, which is totally, I mean, everybody in Switzerland knows that and eats it, and you can also grill it, but you can eat it both ways. And that's called cervola. And I'd say, as I mentioned before, the closest one to a cervola is hot dog. But the cervola would be much thicker, so it's kind of like a knockwurst. If I find a picture and I remember to do it, I will include a picture of a cervola, and then you have an idea how it looks like. So we're just chopping this up like this. But let me switch the camera around, then it's easier for me to show. All right, so we're just cutting it up like that. Now, how you are going to eat this salad is actually, if you have a nice bread, like a baguette you could eat, like you will eat it with nice bread on the side, or leave it off. So how has your summer been going? We are about to actually leave, my younger son and me, to go to Switzerland for about 6 weeks. We're about to leave in like 2 weeks or so. So probably 2 more regular videos, and then I see if I can upload videos from Switzerland. Keep forgetting that now. I switched the camera, so I have to make sure you guys see anything. Otherwise, it's not fun, right? Just throwing this in. I don't know if you can see it. So we're throwing it in. Now we're chopping up the cheese. It's basically now just chopping up Using the cheddar. And I think I'm gonna do about this much. It says about, usually about 100, 150 grams. I guess, what's that in ounces? So the cheese also kind of cut up. I don't know why. Cheese is always hard to cut. I need a cheese harp. That makes it easier. So I just cut it like that. I guess you could save yourself a step and buy that pre-cut, hors d'oeuvre cheese. And I will throw this in as well. So this is definitely not going to be a low-cal dish, but it's probably what you expect from Swiss cuisine. That's what you think of, is probably chocolate, cheese, and sausages, right? But as you know, this is mostly eaten. I'm not saying people don't eat it, but it's mostly eaten like traditionally when you're up on the Alps in the summer, because you don't have access to fresh. Well, now it's different, obviously. Now, there's helicopters flying the stuff up and roads going up there. But let's say back in the days where that wasn't the case, the only food you really had was milk and cheese and maybe smoked sausages, because that you didn't have refrigerators or anything. But modern Swiss cuisine is definitely, a lot of fruits and vegetables. So let me give you like a visual right here. All right. And what else can we possibly throw in? How about cornichon, which is another typical Swiss word. It's basically pickled. You can use fresh cucumbers, but we'll just do. You could also use relish to make it easier, but we're just going to do some, maybe, I think I'm just going to do the whole jar here, whatever is left. And I'm going to chop them up. Can I even get everything out? Nope. There's always the one that is stuck back in there. They used to be in the 50s, I suppose, in the 60s, like a cabaret, kind of like a Saturday Night Live type in Switzerland, and that was called Cabaret Cornichon. So now it's just chopping it up. You could use any kind of pickles. I just like these small ones because they're easy to chop. Again, these are just suggestions. This is how I do it. That's how I grew up doing it. Doesn't mean you can't change the recipe, obviously. There's no recipe police. I'm not going to come to your house to check whether or not you're using exactly what I'm telling you to do. I hope you do it however you please. And we're moving this into the salad here. And then one more ingredient. We are also cutting up, I don't know if you can see it, a couple of tomatoes. So it is not totally unhealthy. I don't even think it's that unhealthy, but I don't know if you can see here. Maybe I'm going to need to switch back to the body cam style. just gonna chop one up because I don't want to bore you. I just realized I cut it up wrong, but all right, so we do one like this. We're gonna just have a variety. Actually, I wanted to cut it up like this. Again, doesn't matter. You can also use cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes. Maybe quarter the cherry and the grape tomatoes. And now I'm just going to use a quarter of an onion. It's because the onion is fairly large, and as I said, only half the family will eat it. So I just want to show you real quick what I mean when I say, cut it in stripes. Can't really see anything here. Just peeling it. All right, so we just kind of slice it like this, very thinly. I'm using a white onion, but truthfully, if you could use a red onion, that would probably be preferable. Because it's slightly sweet and less intense in flavor. But that's what the idea is. And then you just, mix it in with the rest of the salad. But I'm going to keep it separate. Because I don't want to have any conflicts in the family. Now, if you order it in Switzerland, I can guarantee you it's going to have the onions in it. So if you don't like onions and you were ever in Switzerland and ordered this salad, then make sure you tell them no onions. Because otherwise, there will be onions. That's something that grows really well in Switzerland, so there is certainly no shortage of onions. And in fact, in one area in Switzerland in the fall, they even, in Bern, the capital, they even have a market dedicated to onions. Zwiebelmarkt. And on the marketing call, I think that's why we keep the landline, I suppose, so we can actually keep the marketing people in business so they can keep calling our landline, even though we never buy anything. But anyhow, so, oh no, I'm not putting these onions in. I have to keep reminding myself. So this is how the salad looks right now. I have not really stirred it up, which we are about to do. These are not dirty. I kept them, there were the spoons that I used before. So we're just mixing this up. And it's good to do this maybe half an hour or so before you plan on eating it. So again, the dressing can actually marinate. All the flavors can marinate together. I guess I didn't do a good job. Oh, no, it hasn't fallen apart yet. Yeah, so you just eat it on the side with a nice slice of bread. And, maybe have a cold beer. That's definitely one thing I'm looking forward to when I go to Switzerland, the selection of non-alcoholic beers. Because I love the taste of beer, but I don't really necessarily need the alcohol with it. So maybe I'll show you some. Alrighty. So thank you so much again for tuning in to the Cooking Swiss. Please hit the like button if you liked the video, or dislike it. That's fine too. I mean, if you hated it, just dislike. Then Then I know it actually gives me feedback that's like, oh, I don't really like this video. Leave a comment if you like to have something to say. Please subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Have a great evening. Bye. Addition. It was right in front of me and I forgot to mention. Of course, put some parsley in, Or you could also use chive, fresh or frozen. Or if you have the dry kind, that's fine as well. Let me throw some parsley in right now. How could I possibly forget? I mean, I'm like, seriously? What is wrong with me? All right. Again, bye, and hopefully see you next time. Bye.